What's poppin', y'all? PlaqueBoyMax, who has been the premier streamer, the breakout streamer of the year when it comes to 2025 and later end of 2024, he just dropped his debut album. So for those, it's called Five Forever. 5 Star is his crew, what he calls his fans, the brand that he reps. And I think the cover is dope, off rip. He's got the 5 Star with the New Jersey Nets jersey, which was how old was he when the New Jersey Nets turned into the Brooklyn Nets? Because Jay-Z was one of the people that came into the Brooklyn Nets, and that was 2010, 2011 when Magna Carta Holy Grail came out, and PlaqueBoyMax is 22, so he was 6, 7, 8 years old, maybe. Who knows? But I think it's a dope cover either way. Now, he just signed to Field Trip Records in partnership with Capital. And it was Quavo that leaked this when he was like, yo, we on the same label. I think it's a solid move for him to sign to a label just to get a lot more of these collabs easier. And shout out to them because they listened when I was like, yo, why don't they just do these music streams in a studio so that people could smoke as opposed to the Airbnb? And it looks like he started doing that. So maybe I wasn't tripping in making that suggestion, and it wasn't something that they had tried before. One thing, though, is that PlaqueBoyMax had been seen more as a curator and an engineer to a degree, not like engineering proficiency, but he was handling the engineering of these songs. And I'm going to first review my thoughts on this album because this album is PlaqueBoyMax's album of him rapping. And I listened to this album twice. I actually took notes on this, and this is more than I've done for any other album that's dropped this year, for even artists that I like. Like, I'll listen to it on my own. I'm not taking no damn notes. Maybe if it's an artist that I kind of mess with, I'll listen to it once, and then I most likely won't really talk about it after that. Because for this, it's his debut album. The guy's a streamer too. He also said that he wanted to not take a break, but he said he wanted to fall back on making his own music on stream to focus, and he just felt like there was a lot of pressure on him on stream. So I wanted to give him a completely fair shake instead of just going in there off the first listen and dismissing it, which might have happened off the first listen. So I'm going to go track by track. Now, off rip, the first song, Yacht, this song is absolute trash. My first thought was, what the hell is this? If this album is going to be like this, no, I might not make it to the third, fourth song. And I had already committed. So this song, garbage. The beat, whatever the hell he did to his vocals, all that mashed together, it's like one big dookie sandwich. And it's the first song too. Usually that's the one where you want to establish to a listener that's never heard of his music before, especially him rapping. Many people have seen him and seen what he's done with music, but they haven't really heard him rap. Maybe they heard Pink Dreads. So this, oh my goodness, what a terrible first impression. But I sat down and I continued to soldier through for you guys. The second song, Lay Flat, I don't think the concept was bad. Lay flats, first class. A lot of rapping and writing in general is just saying a bunch of different things, saying the same things in a bunch of different ways. And that's where creativity comes from. I think a lot of creativity comes from constrictions as opposed to there are so many other things to talk about. Not really. There aren't that many things to talk about in life in general. However, you could say many different things in different ways. So I thought the concept wasn't that bad, but the song is trash. Now, the writing wasn't terrible. Now, PlaqueBoyMax, we're not going to say his writing ever impressed me to any degree, but I can understand where it's like, okay, the writing here is not too bad. But the delivery is just off on this song. It doesn't come across well. The melody and the flow just sucks. So we're not off to a great start. Number 3 was Tank Davis, and I was just in my notes, I just wrote, WTF is this? It's just a mess. Yeah, that's what the song felt like, a complete mess. At this point, I'm like, this is only 13 songs. Let's see if we can soldier through. The song 7, was the first song that was actually decent. I raised my eyebrows, okay, the not bad face. And the flow fits well with him and the beat. So I thought the song was okay. I actually liked this song. And then after that, it's Swag 2. So this song, Swag 2, it wasn't trash like the first 2 songs, but it was just forgettable. I feel like the delivery and the vocals were supposed to be a little bit spacey, considering the way that the beat feels. but it just sounds like something old Uzi would mess with. And if old Uzi was messing with this, it wouldn't sound like this, how the song ended up coming out. So Swag 2, not a fan of it. Now, Rockstar, that's just whack. This isn't even music. It just sounds like noise put together. So I did not mess with that song. Now, track number 7, Dave. This is the hardest beat thus far that also matches his style. The delivery on here was on point by PlaqueBoyMax. And I think this is one of those songs. This is the first song where I'm like, okay, or maybe the second song because I liked 7. But this was the first song where I said, okay, he's showing me what he's capable of making. But then after 38 seconds specifically, I'm like, wait, what the hell is he doing with this switch up on the flow and his rap as well? Like it just got worse at that point. After 38 seconds, but then it picked up later. So I don't know if this song was supposed to be shorter or what. And this is a recurring theme that we're going to see throughout this project. But we saw some glimpses of like, okay, I see what you're doing. And then it's just taken away. Track 8, Yacht 2. This is Dookie Garbage. And this song, if I was a PlaqueBoyMax hater, and I was like, I'm going to make sure that everybody that's heard of this guy but hasn't heard of his music, they never listen to it again. This is the song. This is the first song that I would show them. I'll be like, yo, this song perfectly encapsulates PlaqueBoyMax. I'd send that to them. That's how bad it is. Or that's how bad I think it is. Track 9, Paid For. This is a smooth beat. And the background vocals, whoever's wooing in the background, it sounds like PlaqueBoyMax. But it's flows smooth on this. He flows smooth on this. I would say it's like the third good song on here. Maybe second good song if we're talking about at this point. But the second half, after 1 minute, it feels like the song was supposed to end. It just gets worse after that mark with his last verse. And this is clear Drake influence, but there's nothing wrong with that. The guy's clearly listened to a lot of different music. He's taken input from a lot of different artists, and he's trying a lot of things here. Pink Moscato, track 10. This is a solid song, but it feels like it's another one of those songs that was supposed to end at 1 minute. It just gets worse with the second verse. And I don't know why he's extending these songs past 1 minute. Maybe because some of these songs were snippets. I don't know. Were these songs snippets? PlaqueBoyMax stands, fans, 5-star guys are going to have to let me know if that's the case. And if you just release a song the same length of the snippet, maybe people are disappointed. Because I know for Spotify, the minimum is 30 seconds. I don't know if it's a minute now, but you don't need a song to be 90 seconds. Now, granted, you should be able to make a song that's 90 seconds. But this song just gets worse after the 1 minute mark with his last verse. And I don't know if he's coming back to these songs later to finish them or what, but that's what it feels like. It feels like he laid it down and he had like this, he was kind of in this flow state, and then he just leaves it and he comes back and it just picks up and it feels choppy. Like it's hard to describe. Now 11, SOS. This song just sucks. I get he's experimenting here. The writing, like I said, isn't bad. There aren't any bars where I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Now, there aren't any bars that impress me either. But it's like, okay, I get it. And the thing is, like, he's trying. It's like a little bit of a reflective song, but he's just not delivering it well. So I think what he was trying to do isn't bad, but the song itself, yeah, it comes out, it sucks. East Coast, I'm not a fan of this song. Maybe like more underground, like newer guys, they mess with this, newer fans, but this song is just not good. And then track 13, Casper, which is the last song on the album. I like the opening to this song. The beat is nice. The concept of the song is okay, but after 35 seconds, it's like he just struggled to find some bars. It's like he tripped and fell and like caught his balance again, and he just stumbled and loses the flow a little. Like the melody after a minute just does not hit with his voice. I don't know if he needs vocal work, or I would say if he just kept rapping the whole time and didn't try to switch it up in that song and trying to hit that at 1 minute, it would have been solid. And like after 1 minute and 45 seconds, he's like, it ain't nothing for me to F a hoe and go Casper. Like, why is that even part of the song? It just makes the song worse. And it's not because of what he's saying. It's just the way that it sounds on the tracks. Like we got to peel back the layers. And a lot of these songs, like a couple of these songs that I almost liked, they just had to be cut shorter. And that's one thing that I do respect about PlaqueBoyMax is that he made this quite condensed in 13 songs. And this is to his detriment sales-wise. I don't think sales is even a conversation for this that we should have. We got to give the guy grace. He's not a mainstream artist. I'm just really going to appreciate Yeat here. Now, there is some Yeat influence on some of these tracks. Yeat is also a label made of him because he's with Field Trip Records. Man, Yeat, it just goes to show, like, that guy is actually incredible in comparison to PlaqueBoyMax. And one thing that PlaqueBoyMax, it feels like when he's rapping, is that it's somebody that never really learned and harnessed the fundamentals. So, for instance, like XXXTentacion, right? Like the music that he was making, he showed like, yo, I can actually rap. I learned how to traditionally rap first. And I don't know if it was on No Jumper where he just busted into a freestyle. Juice WRLD, that's somebody that made more like SoundCloud-ish music, if you want to call it that. But we heard the guy freestyle. The guy could clearly rap. He had the fundamentals down. Lucky is another guy who has a different style of music. Like, you wouldn't call him lyrical, quote unquote, but the guy's got bars. If Lucky wants to rap, write up an actual rap song traditionally with the basics of the game, the fundamentals, he could do it. I would say Yeat could probably do it as well. But PlaqueBoyMax, I don't know if he can do that. And that's the thing. It seems like PlaqueBoyMax just like heard and he tried to start punching in and just learn as you go. But a lot of these other artists, to break the rules, you first got to know the rules and be able to do them well. Like, for instance, you've got the fundamentals of boxing, right? Like, cover your hands. You've got the fundamentals of like how layups are done. You've got the fundamentals of skateboarding. Like, everyone learns the trick the same. However, it's expressed differently the better someone gets. So the more experience someone gets, like you see top fighters and they fight differently. You're like, yo, why does this guy keep his hands down more? Or like, why is there different styles for elite fighters that have been champions? It's because that's how they express the style. But they all learned the same fundamentals. And in rap, like, no matter how you want to sound, you got to learn the fundamentals of rap to be able to switch up. And I don't know if PlaqueBoyMax learned the fundamentals of rap. I could be wrong, and I would like to know if I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like. I'm also not convinced that him being a rapper is the best idea, and also why I think I think it's almost impossible to do this is because rapping is hard, man. Making good music is hard. This also made me not only just appreciate Yeat, Sofego, please hurry up and come back. It made me appreciate you too. Even Netspend and like Osama Sen. I was never really an Osama Sen like hater. I'm not really too much of a listener of him. Netspend, I was for sure a hater. That guy's music was trash. But even him, I'm like, okay, this guy clearly has been making music for years and that's his main focus. PlaqueBoyMax, this guy is streaming all the time. And being a rapper while streaming all the time and getting better at being a rapper. It's not like, okay, you already spent your dark years, all of those years from like 16 to 21 rapping, and then now you're a streamer. No, you were streaming and maybe like doing music on the side. And then now you're trying to play catch up, yet we're going to compare you to rappers if you want to be a rapper. When what I thought PlaqueBoyMax's album was going to be was him being a curator, a tastemaker. That's how I see him, and that's what his brand is like too. It's like, hey, I'm going to put these, like DJ Khaled. I believe that PlaqueBoyMax could have been an ideal DJ Khaled-esque figure for the new generation. So, yo, I'm going to get these producers in the room. I'm going to get these artists and these singers and these rappers to lay down the tracks exactly like how I want, and then he pushes the album. He's like, yo, this is my album. And maybe he's like, yo, he says 5-star throughout the track. Not like DJ Drama or something where the majority of the song is someone else, but he's actually just executive producing. Because when your skill is like, for example, like a stylist is not a fashion designer, but a stylist knows style and knows how to put the style on somebody. A fashion designer might know how to design the piece, but not how it's going to look on different people or how other people should wear it. And there's other things like this, like I guess like food critics and actual chefs. Now, are actual chefs the best food critics? I don't know, because chefs have specialties, and that's what they focus on. Regardless, with PlaqueBoyMax, I think that was a missed opportunity, and maybe it's because he's really, really passionate about rapping, or it's because he didn't want to be seen as like a DJ Khaled when that was the majority of his content. Like when we see PlaqueBoyMax clips, it's not him rapping. And he fell back on making his own music, but that was never the highlight or the reason why a lot of people knew him. And if you're going to be a rapper as PlaqueBoyMax, you need to be elite. And I mean elite for the audience that you're targeting. Keep in mind, like, I'm listening to this, I know a lot of these tracks aren't for me, and I'm listening to it from the mind frame of somebody that's comparing this to the same type of music that PlaqueBoyMax is trying to hit. Like, there are a lot of people that are listening to this just because they heard of PlaqueBoyMax and they don't like this style of music whatsoever, and they can't put themselves in the mind frame of somebody that likes this style of music whatsoever. So they're just gonna call the whole thing trash. Like, you clearly heard, like, yeah, I'm giving some actual takes on here. I'm being a bit nuanced. I don't think the whole thing's garbage. Overall, the project, I would say it sucks. Like, what? I'd give it like a 3, maybe a 3 out of 10. There aren't that many tracks on there. I think like it could have been up to like a 5. Some tracks were shorter, but like song making as well, I think that's something that PlaqueBoyMax needs to focus on. And also, I think he's experimenting too much. Like, there's too many different styles on this for somebody that hasn't yet developed. There are a lot of rappers that we see that are versatile now. They started off with a distinct style that they focused on and they mastered, and we were like, okay, that person's got that. And then they start breaking out and trying new things. So having a bunch of different styles as a rapper is already difficult. You already are not great of a rapper, and you're trying to do that, and you're trying to stream all the time. You just can't. You're not going to go very far at that rate, in music at least. Like, entertainment, of course, like, the guy's absolutely killing it. So those are my thoughts on the album. The sales conversation, I think it's just like a hater move for anybody to really focus on that. People are going to report it because he's popular. It is what it is. But I want to see a project of PlaqueBoyMax, not as a rapper. I want to see you executive produce something. Like, you're a tastemaker. Like, you've put on artists and your audience messes with that, and I think his audience is going to support this. But if you want to be a rapper, you need people that just like your music, independent of whether they know who you are. So if I just throw a PlaqueBoyMax song, and this is what I think PlaqueBoyMax needs to think in his brain, yo, these songs that I'm creating, if someone takes one of these songs and throws it in the middle of a playlist, and this person's never heard of me before with similar type music and rappers, are they going to think it's trash or not? Or are they going to think, yeah, yo, this is hard? If they're not going to think it's hard, then you've got a problem. Because that's the only way to make this work. Like, as a like, how do rappers get on? People that don't know them listen to their stuff and they're like, yo, this is great. Who is this guy? And then they follow them. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Am I tripping? Is this album actually great? Does it hold, and by great, does it hold up to underground rappers right now? I don't think so. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.